Hello, my wonderful viewers. Welcome to the next installment in my fanfiction storytime series, the series where I spotlight various fanfictions from across the ages for your listening pleasure. Today's group of stories comes from fanfiction.net as per usual, and is all about Minecraft. Yes, that's right, the legendary game itself. Though it has only been in existence since around 2009, Minecraft is iconic and wildly popular. As you might imagine, there are hundreds upon hundreds of fan stories dedicated to it on fanfiction.net. Stories of all different lengths and genres. The three I am spotlighting today are on the shorter side, however, to keep this video at an optimal length. I wanted to keep this video below 15 minutes today, as I am working on another project that is taking up some of my time. So, take a seat around the metaphorical campfire, relax, and get ready to dive into the one true world of all things blocky. The first tale was written by Goddammit of Creepers, great name I know, in November of 2010. It is one of the earliest Minecraft fanfictions on fanfiction.net. It is classified as sci-fi and adventure. Also, it appears to be a one-shot, as GD of Creepers hasn't written anything else on the site since then. George was excited. This was the last day on their 4-day-long voyage to Chernobyl. Of course, he thought as he hastily packed up his belongings. It would only be a week for them. For everyone else in the universe, it would be around 10 years. The discovery of near-light-speed travel made things quicker, but only to those traveling. He had given up everything to come here. When he went home, if he went home, everyone he knew would be at least 20 years older than him. A computerized voice shouted over the loudspeaker, "All passengers and staff to stow belongings and report to the bridge. Descent from Lightspeed in 5 minutes." George locked his pack away and left his accommodations. It was a small room with only one small bunk, bolted to the floor along with a closet and a small bathroom, all in shades of metallic gray. George would have enjoyed a more spacious area and some variation in color, maybe a painting on the wall. He quickly changed his mindset when he found out where the workers and soldiers slept. Their barracks were cramped and stuffy and somehow even grayer than George's room. He made his way to the bridge and strapped himself into his designated chair around the other programmers. The seats were padded to reduce discomfort during re-entry. He glanced at his crew. They looked as relieved as him to finally be there, to finally get off this cramped starship. Being the head programmer, George had a team of around 10 men, 6 of whom decided to come up with him to Chernobyl. George was required to come, being the head programmer who needed to supervise everything in case something would go wrong, but the rest of his men were not necessary. The fruit of their labor, what they had worked on for the government for the last 2 years, was stored in several computer memory blocks in the cargo bay, encased in layers of Kevlar and some kind of industrial bubble wrap, and specially designed to hold the several terabytes of code to run the life support, world generation, and simulation codes needed for this. George couldn't decide what to call it. An experiment, maybe. Or a simulation. A proof of concept test, George finally decided. If this concept could be proved to work, then the entire jailing system on the Earth and the Union of Planets would be revolutionized. The electronic clock on the wall neared the end of its countdown. It hit 0, and the blurring streaks of light from outside the reinforced windows began to slow down, turning into bright, burning stars. Ahead of them, the barren planet Chernobyl floated ominously in the void. Okay, that's the end. So I don't really quite know why this one was classified as Minecraft, but it was, so I read it. I hope you all enjoyed it. Pretty cool. The second tale was written by author Edda Messiah in October of 2010. It is also one of the earliest Minecraft fanfictions on the site. The story is classified as fantasy, and its author has been inactive since 2017. Shit, not again. These were my thoughts as I appeared into sudden existence in a dank, gloomy cave, hundreds of blocks beneath the surface. It was only about 10 high, but extended as far to my left as I could make out. I seemed to be embedded in the wall, 1 or 2 off the ground, surrounded on 3 sides by dirt like myself. Well, what now? A creature, clad in decomposing garments hanging off of rancid flesh, shuffled tirelessly back and forth around the little cave, groaning the same groans and pausing every few seconds to dwell on the inner torments of the undead. Through non-existent eyes, I surveyed the area. I seemed to have the prestige of neighboring a chunk of iron ore. What luck! And black specks in the wall opposite to me denoted the presence of coal. The zombie stopped to examine the irregularity, before continuing on its autonomous patrol. I sighed silently. It was only a matter of hours, or days, before I disappeared again, ripped from my shell to be placed in another. I guess that wasn't so bad. This was my 77th incarnation, and yet I'd only felt the warm, refreshing light of the great square on my grass once. Then some bastard tore me away. Suddenly, blinding light everywhere. It filled the cavern and burned retinas I didn't possess, until I managed to adjust. A hole had been cleared in the opposite wall, presumably in an effort to extract the coal, and was now expanding. It stopped at 6x4 blocks, when a volley of sticks, no, arrows, came thundering through. They pierced the rotting skull of the droning creature, which collapsed with a shriek and burst into putrid dust and a single feather. I surveyed the shaft of light pouring into the grimy chamber, and a creature stepped through. He appeared similar to the undead horror he'd slain, but didn't have the same air of decadence about him. Indeed, his skin was living and fresh. His eyes, though, they were as lifeless as the grave. The creature looked around with empty glances. He settled on the iron ore next to me, which began to whimper as it realized what was coming. I pitied it. The creature withdrew a strange implement, like an arc of stone clumsily affixed to a wooden rod, and began to ruthlessly beat the ore. Chips of rock struck the uncaring face of the creature, as the ore screamed and pleaded for mercy and death. But the creature did not hear. The living never heard our screams. The screams of the ore finally stopped as it exploded into a single block, which the creature deposited in a deep pocket. He then removed another tool, this one different. Like what was it? A sort of axe used for picking stone? A pickaxe? Like the pickaxe, it had a wooden handle, but instead led up to a sort of flat dome. Like a... Oh no. Oh God, no. The creature raised its shovel and turned towards my earthen shell. I screamed as the stone head dug into me, destroying clumps of soil and roots, tearing at my body with merciless abandon. I screamed as I died, transported away to some other block, but he didn't hear. The living never heard our screams. End. Okay, so this one was definitely set in Minecraft, and a very interesting take. The third tale was written by Florentines in May of 2012, so a little past 9 years ago. Man, that's totally nutty to think about, honestly. But anyway, the story has no genre classification other than Minecraft, so we have ourselves a grab bag, I guess. The author has been inactive since 2013. There's a creeper colony residing in a cave not too far from here, and that's where I come from. It's pretty cozy in the caves, and Minecrafters rarely ever venture down there. I live in a cavern filled with diamonds, redstone, and gold, which create an awesome look, especially with all the lava nearby, which stops other mobs spawning in our cavern. The cavern is blocked off on one side with stone and open on the other for easy access. Endermen helped us build the wall. They are the only mob which we are friendly with, really. The humans dare not go to our cave, as there have been rumors that when one goes into the cave, they never return. Maybe if they sent a group down there, but no. Selfish Minecrafters go down and take our riches, our diamonds and our iron ore and whatever other ores you may find down in the cave. I was born a creeper and will remain a creeper until the end of my life, which basically either means I'll get sliced to pieces or I'll accidentally blow myself up, both of which are not nice ways to go. Trust me, it hurts. Once, I accidentally stepped out into the daylight and saw a human standing around 10 blocks away, holding a sword and looking in the opposite direction. I thought he was planning to hug me, but, unfortunately, I surprised him and he knocked me back with his sword. I ran away after that, and then Mummy explained that you had to sneak up very quietly or the human would hear you and kill you. I didn't ever go out of my cave again, not until I became of age and was sent on a quest to get a hug. All creepers have to venture out in the open, because there's nothing much else to do inside the caves. The other creepers all had been out there, but those Minecrafters scare me. They remind me of Herobrine, the ancient god of the nether and the dark. But Herobrine's eye sockets were silver. Those Minecrafters were all different colors, ranging from black to gray to blue. But still, they scare me. I poked my head out of the cave. It was night, and I saw other mobs around. 3 zombies, a skeleton, and a tall Enderman friend were all standing on the hill in front of me, with a smaller trio of 2 zombies and a skeleton behind me. Hopefully, there wouldn't be any more Minecrafters ready to kill me. According to the other creepers, there was a village very close to the caverns, but I didn't exactly know where it was. I asked the Enderman which direction it was in. It was apparently near the big mountain, on the edge of the river. I thanked the Enderman and trotted off to the village. It was the first time I'd ever been to a village, so I was nervous. I've heard that the Minecrafters have guards, with bows and arrows and swords, which would kill any of us approaching the village. I sure hoped that there weren't any Minecrafters around, because I needed to get into the village before I could retrieve the arms they would put in those wooden containers they have. Those Minecrafters long ago took those arms from us, so we can't hug anything. We are stuck with our 4 legs, which we can only walk and climb ladders with. It's so frustrating not being able to hug anything, that some of us literally explode when we get close to hugging something. It sucks. At least the Minecrafters can actually attack without killing themselves in the process. So I snuck up on this Minecrafter, and he ran away as quick as he could. I tried to open the arm container, but I didn't have any fingers, so I couldn't. I'd have to find one that was already open, or I'd have to get an Enderman to open it for me. I went back to the hill, but the Enderman had already vanished. The sun was rising, so my quest had failed. I saw a creeper nearby, approaching a Minecrafter, then exploding, killing both himself and the person. I shuffled back to my cavern, wishing I could just talk to the Minecrafters and tell them what we wanted. So instead, I'm telling you, so you can tell the blocky humans. This is my message. We are not what everyone thinks us as. We are not what everyone sees us as. And we certainly aren't what everyone describes us as. Remember, we just want hugs. Alright, so that was a cute little one about a definitely not cute mob that is very annoying, aka the creeper. Me personally, when I play Minecraft, I just turn mob griefing off so they can't destroy my stuff. And they are significantly less annoying when you do that. You can call me a cheater, but that's what I do. So they can hug me all they want. Alright everyone, that wraps up another 5 fanfictions. I hope you found this entertaining. If you could, obliterate the like button with your Fortune 3 diamond pickaxe and slay that sub button with your Sharpness 5 diamond sword to show your support. Also, be sure to check out the links in the description to show some love to the spotlighted stories. If you're in the mood to hear more of me, check out my channel for some more narration content. I've got a lot of big plans coming up in the future, so all aboard the night train. Stay tuned and stay cool.